Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, for those of you joining for the first time today. All right. Have you guys ever wondered why AMC and like GameStop and some of these other stocks that should be trading in a lot higher price because they're trading millions of shares at a time, but the price barely moves? Have you ever wondered why that happened? The answer lies in something that Wall Street doesn't want us to understand. So we're going to dive deeper into synthetic shares. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how they're created and what it means for AMC, why it's allowed, and kind of what we need to be doing about it. There's a couple of tips here that we can talk about on what will just help a little bit. We know that there's so much manipulation in the market, but any little bit that we can do, we need to do it, and that will just help us out as we get going. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. That way you can see future videos. You can go back and see other videos if you haven't already. I am going to be making a video on failure to delivers next week, so you're going to want to check that out, and hitting that like and subscribe button is going to be the way to make that happen. Synthetic shares are phantom shares. They're not issued by the company. They don't come from the authorized dilution that the company puts out, and yet they still show up in your accounts, in your investor accounts, and they get traded like they're real, right? This happens when a share is sold, but it's never delivered, and then the buyer's account still gets credited with that share. The result is that it looks real, it acts real, but it suppresses the stock like real selling pressure is, but it's because the inflated supply with these new synthetic shares, phantom shares, whatever you want to call them, that are now in the market. In AMC's case, synthetic shares may be the clearest reason why we haven't seen the price move in a way that it should. And we all know that. We've seen it so many times. So let's dig a little bit deeper into how they're created. So here's how synthetic shares come into existence. Okay. Step one, a trader, usually a hedge fund or a market maker, sells a share they don't actually own. Okay. Then step two, when it's time to deliver that share, nothing shows up and it creates a failure to deliver. Okay. Step three, the buyer's broker still credits the account with the share, even though it doesn't actually exist. Hence the word synthetic share, right? Naked shares. That's what they are. And step four, that credited share is now a synthetic. It can be bought, it can be sold, it can be held, it can be borrowed, just like a real share does. And this is how they're continuing to drop the price and continuing to suppress it in a way that just doesn't look natural, shouldn't be happening. And the market just becomes flooded with these fake shares, even though the company never authorized them. All right, now let's put this into AMC's perspective, right? We own the float. Retail owns the float many times over. And it's because we are also buying these synthetic shares, but they're making them. So we're going to keep buying them because that's what we do, right? We buy and hold. So why does AMC still trade like it has an infinite supply? Because even with a locked float, the synthetic shares are still in circulation, right? Buying pressure gets spread across a large pool of fake shares, not just the ones that AMC has put into the actual market in a real legit way. This weakens the impact of the buying that happens, and it creates the illusion of constant selling. We know that this isn't retail selling. We don't sell. We're apes. We diamond hand our shares. We hold them, right? What this does is it's a distorted supply problem that masks the true demand and manipulates the market perception. That's what's happening in AMC. It's what's happening in GameStop. It's what's happening in so many stocks around the market that they continue to do this with and continue to dig their hole deeper and deeper. It's not a fair fight. And AMC is a very visible example of why this is happening. And when you see it in social media and you see it in my comment section, you'll see the people that say that this is stupid, it doesn't make sense, whatever. They want you to feel this way because they are probably working for the hedgies. They're bots. They are shills, right? We know this. It's nothing new, guys. So is it legal? Technically, yes, but that's exactly the issue. There are loopholes in place that allow this to happen, like market maker exemptions under the Reg SHO that allows a firm to sell shares without actually owning them in order to provide liquidity. So they're given this exemption this to be able to do this. We kind of talked about this in the last video, and it continues to flood the market with this so they can continue to provide liquidity. But we know they're just digging their hole deeper. They want you to feel like you're in a stock that's constantly going down, even though today we bounced up like 10% at one point above $3. We finished right around the 5% mark green, and it today looked decent. Okay. There's going to be more of those days to come, and we got to just wait it out. And once the time comes that it pops up and they can't stop it, we're going to be waiting for that, right? MOAS is coming. I'm not going to ever say it's not. I don't know. I've said it many times. I don't know when. I'm never going to say a price target, so don't ask me. But I am going to tell you that I do fully believe that MOAS is still coming, and that this is all going to get shown out on what's been happening for so many times, right? The worst problem is that the companies like Citadel, that's a market maker and a hedge fund, they get to play both sides of it, right? The market maker gets to determine where shares are going. They get to handle the order flow. Ken Griffin said out loud, he sets the price, right? Like we see this blatant manipulation out of people's mouths, and the fact that a hedge fund and a market maker are ran by the same CEO is just crazy when you think about it in this way, especially when they're trying to suppress the stock price of a company like AMC. That they're afraid of it. They're afraid to let it run because they know that it's going to destroy them. Right? We've been talking about this for a long time. It would destroy them. And with Ken Griffin being out there dictating what's happening in that realm, it is 100% not a fair fight for anybody except for them. But it doesn't have to be. It won't always be. Things will change. We just have to wait it out. You have to be able to stay just the conviction has to stay inside of you, because that's the only thing that's there that they can't control. They can't control your feelings unless you let them. So don't let it happen, okay? They profit from the spreads, the volume, and possibly even from helping to keep AMC, the stock, suppressed, right? That's what makes them profit, to just be able to just stay afloat while they're doing this, because they're not making money on it. In like the sense of the stock price, right? Like we see that, but they're making money and they're staying afloat by constantly trading back and forth to each other, making their books look a lot better than they actually are, and it changes back and forth. But we've also seen that some of these hedge funds go under for messing around with AMC. All right. The second biggest problem is that there's no real oversight. And we've talked about this too. The SEC is not doing a good job yet on putting a stop to these practices that are causing this to happen and continue to happen. So what can you do? You can hold. Done that, been there, we keep doing it. We buy and we hold smart. The key point here is to hold smart, okay? That means turning off share lending. Go into your settings on your broker account and find where it says share lending, okay? I don't know everything about every broker account, so I can't tell you exactly where it's at. Go into the search bar, type in share lending. It should pop up. You should be able to do it. Turn that off so that your broker can't loan your shares out to hedge funds, to people who are wanting to short the stock. Okay. Hold your shares in cash accounts, not margin accounts, and use platforms that respect your ownership. So if there's not an option to turn off share lending on your broker, switch brokers. Do a transfer your shares. It goes pretty smoothly. I've done it in the past, and get into a broker that allows you to do that so that you can own your shares and they stay with you regardless if they're synthetics or not. Okay. Most importantly, I've already talked about this. Stay informed, stay strong in the mind, and don't let them change your conviction on what you hold, because that is what they want. They want you to feel helpless. They want you to feel like you are losing, but you're not. You're just waiting. You're in this position right now, waiting for it to happen, watching it basically trade sideways because that's what it's been doing. And they want you to feel like it's never going to happen. But they continue to suppress the stock. They can continue to manipulate it so that they can try to buy their time. I've said it before, I'll say it again. They keep digging their hole deeper and deeper and deeper, and eventually it's gonna fill in on them, and they're gonna get screwed over. And it can only happen for so long, guys. All right. Again, stay tuned to future videos that we're going to be talking about other things. And I want to keep educating. I want to keep helping you. Most importantly, I want to keep motivating you. That is my main goal here. So stay positive, stay motivated, stay motivating, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks. Bye.